Hello again, it's me, and this time with an update on the program. Let's see now, where to begin? Mostly been doing that find replace, and I think that part is done. Again, just as a review, somehow or other, I don't know how, but this line disappeared on me and I got messed up again, trying to replace text when I couldn't edit because the limit was already used up. But I eventually found it and put it back. It's our editor. The status bar, if you saw the other video, is a class now. And that works fine. Let's see now. Here, I don't really need to do this here. Well, I'll do this here anyway. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You're going to get overwritten later. So this is all WM Create stuff. This is the hook for the editor. So the title bar. One of the functions I had in Reg was called get Reg type, and I changed that name to this. And now it's a template function. I don't have to put the argument here. Another way to do this would be to just cast this as a TS string. That would. This is the T part, so it would be able to deduce that this is the string version. I find it more readable. You see, the kind of function I would like is get string value such and so, and here's the default. You know, like I used to have a function get dword, but this looks exactly like get dword. If I got rid of this T, then it would be syntactically it would look like what I had for get dword, so I prefer it like that. I prefer using it that way rather than casting that as dword. Let's see the function. That's all. This is all it is. This is some default value. Returns a T because I get put. If successful, returns the thing that was put. Otherwise, I guess it's always returning the same thing, isn't it? T-ret equals default. Return default. Oh no. If this fails, return default. If it succeeds, I return whatever ends up in T-ret out of the registry. Okay, font, etc. We've been over that. I gave this thing a name, a postpone message. I changed it slightly to be or not to be. And If that comes out to FF, I would be happy. I wonder if it does. Sometimes these things get promoted, to ints and stuff. This here is fine as a unit. Let's say X. U. Oh, whoops. Come on, macro system. Did it. Now, that part's a byte. It should be a byte. Yeah, 100 words. But if you see now, if I didn't cast this as a byte, I don't think I get the same answer. See, I got 0. No, that's all. Why do I get 0? Oh, of course, this becomes minus 1. You see, any number in binary, like in this case, 2b, b is 8, 9a, b, right? And if you want to OR that with the not of itself, and that gives 1, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, which should be equal to all 1, right? Except that if this is not cast as a byte, then this thing, this part anyway, is going to be turned into an int, an integer value. Okay, so now the integer value corresponding to this, forget about this part, this is not to be as a byte, but if we promote this to an int, this one happens to be negative, so we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones. So now it's been safely converted to an integer, and this too. This as an integer just gets 0 in front because it's not negative. One more. And when we OR those two together, that gives is that 8? Is that 30? Actually, there are more ones. That's only 2 bytes. So do another. That 8. 1, 2. So yes, 2 more. And this one, of course, more zeros. And all that gives a -1. And -1 plus 1 gives you 0. That's why I got 0 there. That's a good question, by the way, that you're going to run into when your job interview. You know, car C equals even, well, no, unsigned should be safe. Car C equals, 250. And then if C and then the question is, what's the result of this program? Is it going to print anything? Is it going to print this out or not? Of course, the answer is no. Okay, back to here. Window proc. So my postpone message is WM user plus FF, which all that does is set the status bar, and I probably don't need it anymore now that I'm doing that sort of correctly. So not much has changed in here, except now that I'm doing search and replace, I needed to add a special flag to let myself know when edit changes are of my own accord, and I don't want to have things get reset while I'm doing it. Now this list here is a list. When any kind of search occurs, as I mentioned before, I generate a list of offsets where all of the matches I found are, and maintain that list and use it to go back, traverse up and down through the matches. And it turns out that became particularly useful for search replace. In search replace, there are two cases. Here's the regular old search, and well, no, sorry. You get this in both cases, whether it's a search or a search replace box. First thing you're going to get is one of these, some kind of find thing. Now, the way I've told myself whether or not it's a regular find or a search replace thing is by making two of these things. Okay, so this is a find text, and this is a replace text. Okay, it's the same structure, but the name is to remind me that this is for finding and this is for find and replace. This is a pointer to either this or this, and so I can tell by which one this points to what kind of operation I'm doing. And so that allows at least to save into the registry the flags. This should actually be not that. Almost that. It should be this. There are a whole bunch of other flags that I don't care about. I only care about these. whether it's a up, down, forward, or match case. Okay. Now, all these other flags are not things that you would remember and recall for the user. Well, maybe, I don't know, show help, I don't know. But it simplifies things greatly to only care about the last three flags. Now all this says is if I'm searching for nothing, don't do anything. Check shadow. What I have is, besides the two in the header, besides these two, which I'm only ever using one at a time, but they have a different name, there's a third one, which I call a shadow, and it's not used for anything except to determine if whatever the thing is I'm using, if it changed, and when it changes, then I'm going to dump whatever I knew about it, and rebuild my, for instance, these offsets. If for instance, if the search changed to disregard case, then there'll be more matches in here, and I got to rebuild this list. So that's what check shadow does. Is it compares the shadow buffer and find replace type thing with the one that's currently being used, and now they should normally be, if they're not equal, and I dump this and then set them equal just by regular assignment, and that I didn't build an assignment operator. It's just a simple enough structure. All it has is two character buffers and this struct. As far as comparison, if the strings are the same and these flags are the same, then I consider that the same. Okay. Now, I don't know if I haven't used this yet, but I did the replace, so I guess I'll show you it working, and hopefully it will work. So take this nice big file and Control H. So you'll see this is remembered from before. You typed in some word. Suppose I want to change add to odd, right? And I want to remember whole word only. Now I can do replace. Well, I think I know what that is. I probably just broke that now. Yeah. This here pause. Remove at pause, but I need to advance. How do I remove that and advance? I need to declare a new one. So now that advanced pause And now, after doing that, I can see after I find a match from my list, I gotta remove that from the list because it's no longer a match. I just replace the text, assuming that it wasn't the same string. And then I gotta walk through the rest of the elements of the list and add or subtract an amount from those offsets equal to the change in length of the string. It should work now. Get next makes this the next position, and this will be still pointing at the last one, and hopefully it won't insert. This is just replacing one thing, but still I have to modify the whole list of offsets. So what did I say? Add with or something. Points, see? And then I could do find next and replace, right? And then I just start. So there's no more add, believe it or not. I don't know why it maintains this. Suppose I want to match case and replace and with or, but not whole word. If that's working. Then I could just do replace all, and it does all of them. And I shouldn't find any more and. It's not there. So that worked. Now to do replace all is simple. Having the list of offsets really helps. In the replace all case, again, first check to see if I've got my list. If not, rebuild it. Find the difference between the original string and the replaced string length. Now in this case, as I'm replacing them, either the text string is growing or it's shrinking, right? So my offsets are going to be growing or shrinking by a steady amount with each replacement. The zero with no shrink. And then the next one will be at a new offset, different from what it was. So I got to change that, and so on and so forth, each time multiplying by the next index. So that's all that does. And then now that I've figured out where all the offsets are going to be during the replacement, I can just simply walk through, set the selection to the offsets that I've recalculated, plus, so offset, and then plus the offset plus size of the thing I'm going to replace that with the replacement text, and keep going. Initially, these offsets are not pointing in the right place, but as you iterate through this loop, they become correct at exactly the time when they need to be correct. So that's search replace. Done. A lot of other changes, a lot of the problems, things that I was having or things to do with changing the file. I want these questions to come out. Do I want to change that? Do I want to save the change I made? No, I just want to switch. But of course, now there's new, right? What if I type here, and I just want a new file? And you'll notice that the question actually changes slightly each time. Now for a file like this, previously I would have had no question if I changed it to a different file. And just, there are so many different ways of opening something up, right? There's the most recently used, there's switching and whatnot, but I'm still getting my message. Would you like to save these changes before opening? Now, if I say yes here, it's got to ask me for a file name because I don't have one. So you see, it's one of these things where you've got to try and cover every possible scenario. Well, I'll take that. It should be in the list here. One. In fact, one of the problems I was having, which is now fixed, was that when I saved the file, I couldn't reopen the file with another instance. And I wasn't sure if that was a feature or a bug, but now I can. It's possible now to have two open, but only one of them can do any writing. This is docs, notes, note. Do I have that? Notes. Well, I'll change this to something in there. To do. Okay, here's my to-do list, which I can also access this way. And this one, the second one, shouldn't be able to save. Can't save. Right? But this one can't, because it was the first one to open it. So I guess that's the same as Notepad. I don't know what Notepad's behavior is in that regard. Here's the remainder of some of the things anyway. I didn't do that yet. This is done now. Where's my done? Oh, this is the wrong to-do list. Actually, I invented a new to-do list. Let's go still check mark. Done. Uh-oh. There, saving. Do I have this open still? I do. How about that? See, well, that's good. That's what it's supposed to do, right? So I can close this one. Now I can save. That prevents you from doing this thing that happens all the time with Notepad, I think, where you save a file and then you have it open in two instances of Notepad and you don't know which one has is the one you're supposed to save. Anyway, remember search settings, that's done. Oh, it's the done section. Bugs, that's fixed. That's on that exit. So if you start with a new file, I don't know if it's done. It's not been done in this one. A new file, and you just try to exit. It'll ask you if you want to save this. And then, since there's no file, prompt for a file name. The default extension being .note. Anyway, as you can see, that is a pretty much a functioning program. Everything works, even new, which I'd forgotten about. It's got a status bar, which one can do stuff with. Find next, find replace, all work. If you do one of the things that I don't like about this, which is Notepad has the same problem. Like say I change Windows case to Wall. Oh. No, I think I forgot this. Or I've got it backwards. No, okay, I have a bug there. But the point is that it's in my loop there is doing them all in one step, right? But it doesn't just do the replace and then say done. It keeps scrolling. Unless maybe I can, can't do anything. In fact, it's hung at this point. Until it finishes, it's just like Notepad, it's hung. So maybe there's a way to fix that problem. I'd like trying to fix it. Okay, well anyway, that's just an update. Pretty much nothing. I mean, there's a lot of work that went into getting all this working, obviously, and I can't go over it all in one shot. Maybe what I'll try and do is try to remember what I did first, and then maybe go over some of the things and how some of these things work, especially the find replace, which I haven't given a good explanation of. It's a bit long, to explain. Not that it's very hard, it's just long, it's a long process to explain all the little nitty gritties. Anyway, I don't know. Okay, so is there anything else? This is still a private thing. I don't know what to do with it. The search replace stuff again also is a bit of a hack, but it works. Well, it's not a very complicated thing. I don't know. It just takes a long time. Okay, see you later. Bye.